Michigan Jewish Dems for hosting this. As a Jewish Democrat myself, I'm really thrilled to be here. So I'm running for Washtenaw County Prosecutor. I got 5 minutes, which is not very much time, I guess, for a lawyer to talk. So I'll try to move quickly. A little bit about myself. I am born and raised Washtenaw County resident. Started my career actually as a public school history teacher. I taught 8th grade general education and special education classes. Graduated from U of M Law School, and I started my career working with, among other things, victims of domestic violence and spousal abuse, kids with disabilities, victims of consumer fraud, and folks that were in immigration proceedings as well as criminal defendants. I then had the great opportunity to work for Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, another great, I guess you can't be a Democrat technically, but a great Jewish Democratic appointee on the U.S. Supreme Court. And after that, I decided to come home to Michigan. I settled back down in Ann Arbor, and I currently serve as the senior legal counsel at the city of Detroit, where, among other things, I lead our criminal justice reform work. We're working on the package of expungement bills, broadening the eligibility of people to apply for expungements that is up in Lansing right now, in addition to leading our public interest litigation work. So among other things there, I lead our lawsuits against the opioid industry, against banks and slumlords that are maintaining homes in dilapidated conditions and giving kids lead poisoning, and the recently concluded right to literacy lawsuit, in which we got a great settlement with our excellent governor, Gretchen Whitmer. So that's my background. And I'm running for Washtenaw County Prosecutor really because the prosecutor is the gateway to so much in the criminal justice system. And in a way, really my candidacy sort of melds both my Jewish upbringing and the sort of values that I was instilled with, and also being a Democrat. There is a quote in the book of Shemot in Exodus that says, "Do not deny the poor justice in your courts." And for so long in this country, what we have been doing is we've been maintaining really two systems of justice. One in which people that are poor, Black people, brown people, indigenous people, see one type of justice, and those who are wealthier, white and connected see another. And I'm running forthrightly to end that two-track system of justice. So what does that mean concretely? I've got an 18-point plan up on my website, ELI2020.com. No way I can get through all of those points, but I'll just focus on a few highlights. Number one, we need to be focusing a lot more on rehabilitation and treatment over incarceration. We are jailing and imprisoning people who are dealing with addiction, with mental health issues, with trauma that really fundamentally are not criminal matters, they are health matters. And not only is it not rehabilitating people, it is not working, as evidenced by my home county of Washtenaw's recidivism rate, which means people are coming back through the justice system after they've already been in there once, of close to 70%. So if we prioritize the root cause of somebody's actions, if we address the addiction, the mental health, the trauma issues, we can do a lot better, both in terms of rehabilitating people, but also in the long term, keeping us safer, because that means that they are not going to come back through the justice system again. Number two is rooting out and eliminating racial and socioeconomic inequity in our justice system. We have some of the most significant disparities, racial disparities, in Washtenaw County in the state, in our justice system. And, Washtenaw County prides itself on being pretty progressive, but the fact of the matter is close to 70% of the children in our juvenile detention center are Black, whereas Black people make up just 12% of our county population. At the same time, a Black person is 8.5 times more likely to be held pending trial on cash bail than a white person in Washtenaw County, which is the highest discrepancy of any county that has been surveyed in the state. So what I have committed to doing, we cannot just stick our head in the sand and pretend like these problems don't exist any longer. The best practices from across the country that I'm pledging to bring and will bring to Washtenaw County are we need to take a look at the data. We need to know where we are seeing differential treatment from arrests to charging to sentencing to plea bargaining conduct, and where people are being treated differently along racial lines. We can have conversations about, how, what the justice system should look like, and what kinds of things should be crimes. And I think that, we over-criminalize far too much in this country. But at the end of the day, hopefully we can all agree on the fact that if there's going to be consequences meted out by the justice system, it should be because of what you did, not because of who you are. And I'm committed to making sure that that is the case in Washtenaw County when I am prosecutor. And the final thing that I'm committed to doing is treating kids like kids. Like I said, I started my career as an 8th grade U.S. history teacher. I know that kids are not just mini adults. Kids make mistakes, their brains are developing, and when a kid does something wrong, in a lot of circumstances, that is an opportunity to teach and to provide resources, not just an excuse to shuffle a kid into the juvenile detention center, into court supervision, where frankly, we talk about the school to prison pipeline that can condemn them to a life in the criminal justice system. And so what I'm committed to doing with kids is prioritizing the rehabilitation that I talked about with my first point, but also to partnering with community organizations, mentorship programs, after school programs. This stuff actually works. Surprisingly enough, and you don't hear a lot of prosecutor candidates talk about arts programs, but there was a United States Department of Justice funded study in Los Angeles. And they took half of the kids that were gang involved and they shuffled them through the traditional justice system like they were usually going to be. And the other half of the kids, they actually partnered with a community arts program, an after-school arts program, and gave them mentors and gave them something to do. And at the end of it, and again, this is the United States Department of Justice. This isn't some out there group. They found that the kids that had been enrolled in the art programs had far lower rates of returning to the justice system than the kids that had gone through our punitive justice system. These are the types of programs that we need to be building out in Washtenaw County and in the state of Michigan. We need to be focusing more on rehabilitation than incarceration. And we ultimately need to build a justice system that works for everybody and eliminate that system in which there is one justice system for people that are of lower socioeconomic status, for working class people, for people that are Black and brown and indigenous, and another justice system for those who are wealthy and white and corporations. So I'm committed to ending that inequity as prosecutor. That is what my campaign is all about. I will say, if you are interested in reading the other 15 points in my plan and helping out with the campaign, ELI2020.com. You can read all about us, read all about our platform, help out. Donate, of course. Every candidate's got to say that, and hopefully get involved in this race that we've got coming up on August 4th. So